I want to go back now to the fallout over the protests that disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota over the weekend. And joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Mark Harris. He serves on several committees, including the Judiciary Committee, and he's also a pastor. So he would understand very closely what happened over the weekend. And he represents the 8th Congressional District of the great state of North Carolina. Congressman Harris, welcome back to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Always great to have you. Okay, those on the left have been insisting, Congressman, that there was nothing wrong with protesting inside a church. And that even includes, it's coming from some who ought to know better, individuals who are supposed to be well-versed in the law. Here's what Minnesota Attorney General said on a YouTube show with former CNN anchor Don Lemon. Play clip 5 for me, please.
FACE Act, by the way, is designed to protect the rights of people seeking their reproductive rights to be protected, and so that people, for a religious reason, cannot just use religion to break into women's reproductive health centers, right? So how they are stretching either of these laws to apply to people who protested in a church over the behavior or the perceived behavior of a religious leader is beyond me.
That's stunning to me. I mean, here's the AG, the Attorney General. He ought to know better. Although, you don't have to dig much, Congressman, into the FACE Act to find out the list of things that are prohibited. I have a graphic here. And I just want to quote. It says that whoever by force or threat of force or by physical obstruction intentionally injures, intimidates, or interferes with, or attempts to injure, intimidate, or interfere with any person lawfully exercising or seeking to exercise the First Amendment rights of religious freedom at a religious place of worship. I mean, this is very clear. So what do you think's really going on here?
Well, Jody, I think you're exactly right. It is perfectly clear that to disrupt a morning worship service or any worship service of a church is not activism. It's bigotry, and it violates federal law. And I think you've made that perfectly clear here this evening. And there's all kind of things that have taken place by this action that happened at the city's church in St. Paul, Minnesota, that has just caused all the American people to almost just take a gasp. And then on top of it, to have the state's attorney general to seemingly be so ignorant of the law and so biased in the approach that he's taking, that in and of itself really is stunning. But again, I don't know. I don't know how these people think. I don't know if you truly think that you're going to win the hearts and minds of the American people by going in and disrupting worship services. But I think it shows how tone deaf they are. I think it shows how biased they are, and frankly, how desperate they are. And when I say desperate, I mean, when you look at the waste, fraud, and abuse that is being uncovered, you see these subpoenas that have gone to Governor Walz's office and all of these folks. There's so many things that are happening right now in the state of Minnesota, from all of the things that happen with the daycare centers and all of that, to now what's happening to impeding the work that ICE is trying to do. There's a lot of answering that's going to have to start coming forth from leadership in that state.
Absolutely. And they're claiming this was an anti-ICE protest, but happening in a church, this makes it anti-Christian as well. It's amazing what's happening, and I agree with you. The American people are seeing through this. But the Justice Department is issuing now grand jury subpoenas to Minnesota leaders, including the governor, the attorney general who we just saw, and a mayor. Your thoughts on that?
Well, again, I think it's important to note that we're at a place where they're going to have to answer for what they're doing in impeding the work of these federal law enforcement that are there, ICE agents that are on the ground doing what they were sent there to do. Again, this is just the epitome of the left at work. And again, when you've got the cover-ups that were obviously taking place during all the things with these daycare centers and things we mentioned earlier. And then you add to it what's happening right now with the protests that are taking place. There's a lot of things that it's going to be nice to see these leaders being subpoenaed and beginning to have to give some answers.
Yeah, it really is. I'm glad this investigation is going forward. I know City's Church issued a statement of their own today talking about how their members had been accosted and how they were frightened, intimidated, and so forth. What would happen, do you think, Congressman, if this type of protest took place in an abortion clinic, for example? I mean, the left would go nuts, wouldn't they?
Absolutely. I mean, look, when folks show up outside of an abortion clinic to simply pray for them, they pitch, I mean, absolute fits about that. I mean, imagine if they burst in and just took over the service and began to disrupt it and yell and scream and make videos. And there's Don Lemon, of all people, former CNN anchor, that is in the middle of it, taping it and everything. And then everybody starts stepping back and walking back and trying to say, well, everything we were doing was right within the First Amendment rights. And that, listen, they knew they had screwed up, I think. And I think that it's an embarrassment. And I think that we've got to keep telling the story, and we've got to help people see it. Listen, I'm grateful, but for the grace of God, that the people there did not respond. I hate to think if they had come into my church, what kind of response they might have gotten.
I agree with you. Thank you so much, North Carolina Congressman Mark Harris. Always great to have you. Thanks for your input.